It's a small onion. Okay, Wes says. Putting it back on. When the hell's gonna be called? Composting. We've all heard of composting. Composting is nature's way of taking last year's stuff and turning it in to tomorrow's new stuff. Composting is nature's recycling. Okay. If you look at the way nature does it, it makes it real easy to figure out how to do it. Now, I recently commented on Southern Arkansas Homestead's video about her 800 sub giveaway. Y'all go over there and give her a sub. Because she does a deal on the pine straw. And she's got a lot of it. You can compost anything. Some things take a lot longer than others. I have access to a lot of wood chips, thanks to the local dump ground. As soon as they do the, like mid-January or whatever, I'm going to go get a bunch of it because it'll be ground up fir trees and pine trees and stuff. Some tinsel. It's still compost. But you can cheat on this depending on what's available to you. If you've got plastic barrels, there's a trick. If you've got plastic sheeting, there's a trick. If you've got Steve, thanks. If you've got tarps, you can do it with tarp. These don't last forever, but they'll work for what you're gonna do. Composting is bacteria on, in, around, near the plant matter, vegetable matter, animal matter, whatever. Eating the plant matter, animal matter, whatever, and turning it into something else that the plants can eat. A plant cannot absorb nutrients out of plant leaves. Even on the back to Eden thing, you notice that the plants grow and the roots are where the roots of the plant are in the soil right below the mulch, the wood chips, the whatever. It's because they're eating what the bacteria in the soil is secreting after eating the plant matter you're using for composting or for your mulch, rather. So, rambled for 4.5 minutes to get to this point. You can take it with a plastic sheeting. It's cheapest thing. Should have grabbed that roll. If I can do this, that's going on. Yeah, forget that. I remember I took it out in another building. And I'm not going out there. I just got on a poncho. I ain't got on no sleeves. This is my idea of a house coat. So, wear it hunting too. Anyway, you take the 6 mil, and the mils is actually really important. And depending on how much sun you have, um, you can do this with clear. The clear is not solar proof. The black plastic will last a lot longer, and it's not any more expensive. So anyway, you get the black plastic. Yeah, let's say you buy a sheet of it rather than a roll. I bought a 200-foot roll of it because I go through a lot of it. I think it's 15. No, I think about it as a 100-foot roll. No, 200-foot roll, but it's 15 by 200, right? So I can roll out 15 foot of it and cut it off, and I've got a 15 by 15 piece of plastic. And say you roll off 20 foot, so you got 20 by 15. Now, yeah, clear your spot for your compost roll. You put the roll down, and in the middle of the plastic, not all the way to each end, you literally, you can use a pitchfork or something, but you don't want to make great big holes in it. You just need something for that water can weep in and out of. 16 penny nail. You want something from 1/8 of an inch hole to a 3/8 of an inch hole. You don't want to blow great big holes in it. I guess you go out there with 22 if you want to and shoot holes in it. It'd be silly. But about that size hole. And you want one every 3 to 6 inches over the whole thing. 5 foot wide down the middle. However long you want to go. If you've got, you're going to want to close the ends of this off. So, you've got that. That's why you got 20 by 15. Do 15 foot right in the middle, and that leaves you 2.5 foot on each end. If I can still do that. Then you put your compost material. Doesn't matter, oak leaves, grass cuttings. Grass cuttings, make sure that they dried. Do not put green grass cuttings in this. You can save your grass cuttings, but you've got to let them dry out before you put them in there. Okay. They'll get hot. They can get you on fire. They will start smoking. Anyway, you put the stuff in the middle, in a nice little whatever. You don't put so much that you can't close over it. Okay? And it doesn't have to, let me get me a theoretic piece of plastic to scale. Not to scale. They don't have to go way over each other. But you want the top to be closed, as long as they lap each other a foot or so on top. Just so you can and you're going to put something on top of it to keep it down. A board or something, okay? But anyway, after you get the stuff in the middle, however much you can get in there, you get it really wet. I mean, you don't just sit there and just put the water hose in it and let it run. You actually have to spray it down and let the grass, I know I just said you had to let it dry. Go with me on it. Because the sugars change after it dries out on its own, after it's green cut grass, okay? Anyway. You wet it down, and then you cover it. You lay something on it to keep the fold. You close the two ends in. Same thing. Put something on it to keep it closed. Walk away. Let it sit for 2 weeks. Come back. Take your stuff out and be aware if it stays reasonably warm. The reason you're doing this in the winter time is because once you cover it, you get it wet and you cover it up, the black will hold heat in. You want it warm. If it's warm, the bacteria works. Bacteria doesn't work so much in the winter time because it's cold. It slows down the composting process. Most of your composting happens in the fall and in the spring, and it happens fast at the bottom of that leaf pile. But you can edge it along. But you open it up, stir it up. Literally, you have to, I mean, you rake the top half over onto this leaf, or this side of the plastic, the middle half over here, rake the the bottom of it out, and then just start raking it all back together so it all gets mixed in again. And when you get that bottom, by now it should have started smelling. You can, and it actually, it'll have an odor, not a pleasant odor, but not an unpleasant odor at this point. You get it wet again, close it back up, same thing. And after you do this, what happens is you take the bacteria that started growing on the bottom of the pile from it's being constantly moist. Bacteria has water, oxygen, and warmth. It can grow. It's got food, water, shelter. Okay? You mix it up, and then all of a sudden, the bacteria that was growing right on the bottom is everywhere with food, water, and shelter. Anyway, after it takes about 2 months, well, about 3 months really. But if you'll do it 3 months after you start this process, when you unwrap it, you're going to have this dark brown, clumpy, dirt-looking stuff. That is potting soil, basically. There you go. You just made dirt. You can do the same thing if you've got access to several barrels. And this is a cheat, a real big cheat. You literally fill the barrel up. Well, not all the way. You leave yourself a little room, fill it with the straw, run it full of water. Put it somewhere where the sun can stay on the barrel so the barrel doesn't freeze all the time. If it's going to freeze, if the barrel's going to freeze, it works here where I'm at. Because the barrel's only going to freeze once or twice a winter. And it's not going to freeze all the way. Just leave it. You ain't got to do that. Every once in a while go by and stir it a little bit. Every couple of weeks, same thing. Make sure the stuff on the top goes to the bottom and the stuff on the bottom comes to the top. And make sure you're somewhere when you pour this out, you ain't got to smell it at your house. You know how when you reach down and grab the bottom of the lake and pull it out, how bad it stinks? That's good dirt. That's the way that stuff in that barrel's going to smell. Pour it out, let it drain, let it dry, then go till it into your garden. That's the lazy way to do it. You can do it with, you can do the same thing with the big black trash bags. I've got a stack of them out there right now. I'm actually doing it with the big black trash bags. Wood mulch in a bag, big trash bag, and I filter it up with water. I just go out there once in a while, step over it, squish it around. And in the spring, I'll open it. Well, the chickens tore one of them open. But anyway, it's the same process as fermenting feed. The bacteria and yeast and stuff breaks down the cell walls of the matter and turns it into mulch. It's fast. It's effective. It works. Suburbanites, the guy who wants the manicured golf course, putting green looking front yard, and the trees that, the giant tree in his front yard that looks like it's somebody's bonsai tree. To those guys, fallen leaves on his yard is a bad thing. To somebody trying to make food grow out of the ground, those things are God's gift to your garden. That's it. Think about it. That suburbanite's paying somebody to cut the grass, throw it in the dumpster, and have it hauled off. And then he goes back to the store. Check this out. He goes back to the store and buys fertilizer to put on his grass to make it grow so he can do it again. If you're a suburbanite and you're doing this, I apologize for making fun of you. I have my fingers crossed. I'm just telling you. You know, you could have composted that stuff in the back, out of sight, behind your fence. And then you could have gone out there and sprinkled it on your own self. After it cooks down, there's not nearly much left. You've got to buy fertilizer. But then again, your yard gets taller than the neighbor's yard. You wind up with this really pretty, you got sidewalks down here, and then you got the grass up here, inch and a half above that, with this nice, clean, green picture going around it. It's almost like people are afraid to step off of your sidewalk after that because they're like, who is this guy? I'm just saying, you could do it like that if you wanted to. Y'all have a good one. Sorry the video went so long. God gave you the leaves when He gave you when you acquired the dirt, God gave you the leaves to do something with it. Leaves fall off the trees, under the trees, so that the tree can use them again. Don't steal the food from out of the mouth of your own property by having it hauled off or burning it just because it bothers you. Do the work. Turn it into what you need it to be. You give it back. Every year you do this, you will add topsoil to your property. And that topsoil will encourage grass growth. The dust in the air, the grass will attract the dust. It will settle. You will wind up with thicker, healthier dirt on your property that grows more stuff. I should go out there and show you. I did this. The place I used to do this in my backyard is the only place the grass made it all summer. It's still green right now. It works. It reactivated the freaking hard pan. And the grass is growing through the hard pan. It works. I'm not even pulling your chain. I should have. I should charge money for this. You just got to be willing to do the work to make stuff work. It's that simple. And the composting thing, God does most of it for you. You got to go out there and dirt the pot every once in a while. Not that hard. Y'all good. Be blessed. Stay alive. Don't die. Don't hate me for picking on people that mow their grass just so they can water and fertilize their grass so they can mow it some more. That makes perfect sense.